Hello everyone, myself Priyanka Vijay Kulkarni. In this video, we'll see about the HMP shunt, means hexose monophosphate shunt, also known as pentose phosphate pathway and the phosphogluconate pathway. Yes, we'll see what is this HMP shunt. This is a totally alternative pathway for the glycolysis and the TCA cycle. In this glycolysis and the TCA cycle, the oxidation of glucose molecule occurs. So in this HMP pathway also the oxidation of glucose molecule occurs, but it is an alternate for the glycolysis and the TCA cycle. This pathway, it is anabolic in nature. What is mean by anabolic? Anabolic means biosynthesis of something. So in this pathway, the anabolism processes occurs, and what is produced? It produces the NADPH and the ribose sugar, which are further utilized. Yes, next it is a unique multifunctional pathway, and it is probably occurs in the cytoplasm, as that of the glycolysis also occurs in the cytoplasm. The same thing, this pentose phosphate pathway, it also carried out in the cytoplasm of the different types of the tissue, like the liver, that of the liver, then RBC, then the adipose tissue, then the adrenal gland, then the testes, and also the lactating mammary gland. Okay, in these cells this pentose phosphate pathway will occurs, okay, in the cytoplasm of that cells. And as I told you, it is anabolic. So what the different products are formed here? The formation of NADPH molecule is occur, first point, very important, and further this NADPH is utilized for the synthesis of fatty acids and the steroids. Second thing, it also in this pathway the biosynthesis of ribose sugar is also done, and further this pentose sugar or ribose sugar will utilized for the biosynthesis of nucleic acid like the DNA and the RNA. And the another important function is to maintain the reduced glutathione. For what? For the antioxidant activity. These are the three basic functions of this pathway. Yes. In the glycolysis and the TCA cycle, it is also for the oxidation of the glucose. So there the NAD plus is act as a hydrogen acceptor, okay, and in this case or in this pathway, NADP plus is act as a acceptor of the hydrogen in the dehydrogenation reactions. Okay, yes. Now this pathway will carried out in a two different stages, like the oxidative phase and the non-oxidative phase. Oxidative phase is totally irreversible phase, and the non-oxidative phase is totally the reversible phase. We'll go one by one. So what is the starting material for this PPP pathway? Starting material here is a glucose 6 phosphate. Okay, this glucose 6 phosphate was it is present in the different types of the cells. How it is present? That whenever you eat something, then you eat the different types of the carbohydrates, and that carbohydrates will enter in your body. So from the polysaccharide different monosaccharides are formed, and the simple sugar, that is the glucose molecule, is formed, and this glucose molecule will be present in your blood. So from the blood it will enter into the different types of the cell as I told you, like the kidney cells, liver cells, RBC cells, etc. Okay, and how it enter into that cell? By using the different types of the glucose transporter. There are the different types of the glucose transporters are there, like the GLUT4, GLUT1. Okay, and after entering into the cells, what happened? There is an enzyme like the hexokinase and the glucokinase. Glucokinase in the liver and hexokinase in the kidney. This enzyme, it what it does, kinase means addition of phosphate, so it add the phosphate group on the 6th position of the glucose and produce the glucose 6 phosphate. So this glucose, why it is do so? Because that glucose must not be go again into the bloodstream. Okay, so the immediate formation of glucose 6 phosphate is done, and this glucose 6 phosphate has a different fate, either it goes for the pentose phosphate pathway or it goes for the glycolysis. So now we are seeing the pentose phosphate pathway. So what is the starting material over here? Glucose 6 phosphate is a starting material. Yes, and yes, we'll go for the first phase, oxidative phase. Oxidative phase, it is a totally irreversible phase, and in this case the dehydrogenation reaction is occurs. So first of all, glucose 6 phosphate is a starting material, so the dehydrogenation is occurs by the glucose 6 phosphate dehydrogenase enzyme. So which is the hydrogen acceptor over here? NADP plus, and it forms the NADPH molecule. Then it gives the 6 phosphogluconate molecule. Now this 6 phosphogluconate also undergoes the dehydrogenation and the decarboxylation reaction to form the ribulose 5 phosphate. Ribulose is a keto acid. Okay, so it forms the ribulose 5 phosphate. Here also dehydrogenation and the decarboxylation reaction. So dehydrogenation means removal of hydrogen. So who is the acceptor? NADP plus, and one molecule of the NADPH is formed. And the decarboxylation means what? Removal of the CO2 or removal of the one carbon atom. Okay, so from this 6 carbon compound, ribulose 5 phosphate 5 carbon compound is formed. Okay, so in oxidative phase what happened? 2 molecule of NADPH is produced and one CO2 is removed and ribulose 5 phosphate molecule is formed. Okay, now we'll go for the non-oxidative phase. Okay, we'll take an example. Suppose here we are taking the 3 molecules of glucose 6 phosphate. So how many molecules of ribulose 5 phosphate will produced? Exactly, from the 3 glucose phosphate, 3 molecules of ribulose 5 phosphate will be produced. Yes, we'll go for the non-oxidative phase. Now this ribulose 5 phosphate, this is act as a substrate. Okay, and there are 2 enzymes like the ketoisomerase enzyme and the epimerase enzyme. These 2 enzyme, it has a one substrate, that is the ribulose 5 phosphate. Okay, it act as a substrate for the 2 different kinds of the enzyme. Which are the 2 enzymes? Ketoisomerase and the epimerase. So if the ketoisomerase will act on the ribulose 5 phosphate, then it produce the ribose 5 phosphate molecule. And if the epimerase is act on this substrate ribulose 5 phosphate, it produces the xylulose 5 phosphate. Okay, we'll see in this pathway directly. Yes, so yes, here in this pathway we can see, yes, I told you we have taken the 3 molecule of the glucose 6 phosphate. So how many ribulose 5 phosphate form? 3 molecules of the ribulose 5 phosphate will form. Okay, so this is 1, 2 and 3. 3 molecules of ribulose 5 phosphate is formed. So now there are the, it act as a substrate for the 2 types of the enzyme. Which are this enzyme? Ketoisomerase and the epimerase. So ketoisomerase and epimerase will act. Ketoisomerase will produces what product? Ribose 5 phosphate. And both epimerases, what is produces? Xylulose 5 phosphate. Okay, this ribose 5 phosphate, as we know, ribose act as a basic sugar for the synthesis of the nucleic acid like the DNA and the RNA. Okay, now just ignore this part right now and just concentrate on this part. So yes, this xylulose 5-phosphate and the ribose 5-phosphate, they interact with each other, which is catalyzed by the enzyme transketolase. Okay, transketolase enzyme, and it produces the two product, glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate and pseudoheptulose 7-phosphate. Now xylulose 5-phosphate, it is a 5 carbon compound. Yes, xylulose 5-phosphate is a 5 carbon compound, and ribose 5-phosphate is also 5 carbon compound. Okay, so it react with each other, and what it forms the glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate 3 carbon compound, pseudoheptulose 7-phosphate 7 carbon compound. So this also 3 plus 7 is equals to 10. Okay, then further what happened, this two, glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate and pseudoheptulose 7-phosphate, react with each other, which is catalyzed by the enzyme transaldolase, and it produces the further two product. What? Fructose 6-phosphate and the erythrose 4-phosphate. Fructose 6-phosphate 6 carbon, erythrose 4-phosphate 4 carbon. 6 plus 4 is equals to 10. So in this way, what is formed over here? Fructose 6-phosphate and erythrose 4-phosphate. Now what happened next? Yes, now see here, this erythrose 4-phosphate, this react with this xylulose 5-phosphate. Okay, this erythrose 4-phosphate react with this xylulose 5-phosphate, which is catalyzed by the transketolase enzyme, and it give again two product, that is the fructose 6-phosphate and what, glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate. Okay, fructose 6-phosphate and glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate. Yes, so now what three products are formed over here? We'll see. One product is fructose 6-phosphate, then again here fructose 6-phosphate, and here glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate. These three products are formed over here. So what is the fate of these three product? As we know that glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate is an intermediate of the glycolysis cycle. Okay, so it undergoes for the glycolysis cycle, and these two, fructose 6-phosphate. Okay, next the enzyme phosphohexoisomerase. Okay, this enzyme will act on this fructose 6-phosphate, and it produces glucose 6-phosphate. Okay, what it produces? Glucose 6-phosphate. Okay, fine, and this glucose 6-phosphate further goes for the oxidative phase. Yes, this is all about the non-oxidative pathway. What is lastly produced? 2 molecules of glucose 6-phosphate and 1 molecule of glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate. This goes for glycolysis, and this go again for the HMP shunt. Yes, the same thing is given over here. We can see this is a non-oxidative and this is a oxidative phase. Okay, glucose 6-phosphate by formation of 2 molecule of NADPH, what it gives? Ribulose 5-phosphate. Then ribulose 5-phosphate goes for the, it act as a substrate for the two enzymes. Which are the two enzymes? Ketoisomerase and the epimerase. If epimerase act, it gives the xylulose 5-phosphate. If the ketoisomerase act, it gives the ribose 5-phosphate. Then further a reaction is occurs, and finally 2 molecule of fructose 6-phosphate and 1 molecule of glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate is formed. This goes for the glycolysis, and this 2 molecule will which enzyme act over there? Phosphohexoisomerases will act. It will form the glucose 6-phosphate, and this glucose, 2 molecules of glucose 6-phosphate, it again goes over here, and again the cycle is going on. Okay, in this way the cycle is going on. And what is the net production of this pathway? The net production is NADPH and ribose 5 phosphate. To produce these two molecules, this cycle will continue and run again and again to produce these two molecules. Okay, yes. Now we'll see what is the importance of this NADPH molecule. NADPH, why it is necessary in our body? It is very helpful for the synthesis of the fatty acids. Also also it helpful in the synthesis of glutamate dehydrogenase, and also in the detoxification of the drugs like the cytochrome P450, also helpful in the phagocytosis, and also to maintain the integrity of the RBC membrane. Yes, pentose sugar means ribose sugar is produced. This ribose sugar is very helpful for the biosynthesis of the nucleic acids like the DNA and the RNA. Okay, yes. Clinical aspects: if there is a deficiency of this enzyme glucose 6 phosphate, then glucose 6 phosphate dehydrogenase, then what happened? This enzyme is present where? In oxidative phase for the conversion of glucose 6 phosphate to the xylulose 5 phosphate for the total oxidative phase. So if that enzyme is not present, then the HMP shunt will not happen. Then what happened after that? The impairment of the generation of the NADPH, means NADPH will not be formed, and it is a X-linked chromosome disorder. It may be the X-linked chromosome disorder. Then the hemolytic anemia, means red cells hemolysis will be occur. Why? Because what is the sorry, what is the function of NADPH molecule? The function of NADPH is to maintain the integrity of the RBC cells. So if the glucose 6 phosphate is not there, then there is a no HMP pathway. If there is a no HMP pathway, then no NADPH, so it cannot maintain the integrity of RBC. So the cell may be rupture, red cells hemolysis will occur, and different types of the infections will also occur due to this. There is a one disease like the Wernicke-Korsakoff syndrome. This is a genetic disorder. This occurs due to the alteration in the transketolase activity, and the symptoms like the loss of memory, mental disorder, and the partial paralysis will seen in this disease or syndrome. And the another syndrome is the pernicious anemia, and this is due to the increasing activity of the transketolase enzyme. Yes, so what is the importance of the HMP shunt? For the just for what? For the production of NADPH molecule and the ribose sugar molecule. Okay, yes. So this is all about the HMP shunt. Thank you everyone.